welcome back to the channel. This is the Terse Turk Part 14 LUFENIA with Rude, Yuffie, and Yuna. This is I think Yuna's the first time I think I ever used Yuna. I know she's really good and all, and I just haven't used her, so I thought, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and use her here. Why not? These enemies, they are only immune to lock, I believe it is. And here, I think this is also the first run I think I used Yuffie. I really like her rework. She definitely hits much harder. I was actually really surprised on how much damage she deals with her LD and all that, doing like AoE attacks with total damage to each member here. Now with these masked monks, they're going to be switching between white, yellow, and red masks, and the way that you're going to have them go back in, I guess, back in a mask. So like right now, one of them is in yellow, right? Season yellow, but if you break them, it goes back to white, because white is the least harmless one. The white version is going to give them just brave regen, not a big deal. So you want to be keeping them, because as long as they keep getting brave regen, you keep breaking them, kind of stuff like that. It's not a big deal. When they start getting into yellow, that's when they start getting their HP regen, and they are going to be doing 120,000 per turn of regeneration, and you definitely don't want that. Then when they get into the red masks, it's going to give them brave and HP regen, and it's going to make them inflict 3 turns of diminishing spirit. And it's going to convert 40% of the brave dealt to HP damage with their attacks. And then they're also going to inflict, if they change to the red mask, they're going to inflict 5 turns of Bane. And that's when you're going to start running into trouble, which is going to be freezing, brave gains. It's going to increase the amount of brave damage that you receive by 30%, and it's going to reduce the amount of brave damage that you dish out by 30%. So this fight is actually pretty simple as long as you're consistently delaying them. You can see here, they're going to stay between white and yellow the whole time. Even if they were to inflict Bane and diminishing spirit, you can just get rid of that with Yuffie. So even then, at that point, it's still not going to be an issue. If you're not bringing in a dispeller and things like that, then you're going to have some trouble. I think Rude as well. He's all right. I don't see too much use for him here in the future. I don't think he's doing a lot of damage, and I also don't think that he provides big enough auras to the party to kind of justify bringing him along when you have, you know, so many good units out there from Yuna and things like that. That's like, why even bring him? I guess that's just me. You really have to be, I think, like a Rude fan to say, okay, you know, I think he's going to be useful here. He's only going to provide 45% attack to the party. The one thing he does provide a lot of is max brave. That's 75%, so that is substantial. But because he's only giving you 45% HP attack up to your party, that's where I'm just kind of like, I don't know if he's really worth it. And then as with Rude 2, he's not inflicting any debuffs to the enemy. He's just straight up just battery and healer. Not bad, but yeah, I don't know how often I'm going to bring him along. I think he's still going to be just one of my main calls, because he will activate Diablos and Odin field effects. And here with these guys, the orb is never going to disappear. You can increase the orb by 10 when the boss takes damage from a debuff like sap and poison, anything like that. So again, super easy. Ferris takes care of this. I think you can use Thancred's sphere as well, and I think that's going to also, I think, do that. Here you're going to see this Limber Wall, and Limber Wall, what it's gonna end up doing here is that it's gonna end up putting up some, I think it's like some type of like shield um, for the enemies, and when they do put up the shield, see, the liberal wall. Sorry, no, it's not. Well, I say shield. Sorry, but I'm gonna go back to it's gonna just reduce the brave damage that you deal to them. Here I'm gonna bring in again Cloud of Darkness friend just to kind of speed up the whole process and delay them, stuff like that. These guys don't need to take turns. They really don't. And then a unit that you could bring into here that would be good would be like Sephiroth, for example, and using his burst, because you're gonna always have them in the white mask regardless because of his burst effect. And then at that point, you know, you want to bring like a Cloud of Darkness friend, maybe even doing like you can also bring in like Core. Core is going to make sure that they never have Brave. It's going to always break them. So I think Core would also be a really good unit for this. Not a tough battle because it's not very restrictive either. I think that for these guys, you're able to bring in debuff cleansers like Theodore, Mog. You could also bring in poison and sap units like Shantoto, Sephiroth, Sarah, Gabranth, and then rebreakers and instant breakers from like Strago to Aranea. Tidus also would work. I've just been using Tidus so much that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give the guy a break. And just because I did end up using my burst tokens on him, which I did that because I had so many that were going to be expiring without a burst that I really wanted to get anytime soon. I was going to have like over 10 burst tokens, I think, expire, something like that, by the time that I got some of these bursts that I really wanted, which is not coming up until probably either X Death or the Burst Plus with Zidane. And support units that you could also use would be like Aerith, Setzer, Core. I mean, the Core, Cloud of Darkness, Terra team is like, I think the go-to if you just want to steamroll through this content here. And then units that could also work. I think that Ignis would be good. I think that this was so easy that you could even bring in like Leon, things like that. I'm not sure if they do. I think it's going to be magic attack, but I think that you might be okay bringing in Leon. I think that they mostly end up doing they do group magic attacks, so I don't know how great he's going to be. They do have a lot of melee attacks too. I think like more than half their attacks are melee. So he's not the greatest. I don't really like his kit too much, and because he doesn't deal a lot of damage either. So aside from that, other characters you might be able to bring. I think you can also bring in Elnarsh to completely lock them from doing any kind of attack. But even their attacks, I mean, they're not a big deal. Here I didn't lock them out, I think, at all, and they still are not going to do a lot of damage. You did see them put earlier the Bane, I believe it was, debuff on, just because I wasn't worried about it, just because I have Yuna and she's gonna just cleanse that right off, so it's not a big deal. And here, you know, that blue thing is kind of like a shield. It acts just like a shield. Once you get rid of a certain amount of brave, it's gonna go away, and that's it for the fight. There's really nothing to it. I mean, I think that although Rude and Yuffie, you know, and Yuna are all like brand new units, you can still bring in so many other units in here, other, you know, big damage dealers, and bringing in like your Terra and stuff like that. You could mix match so many different types of units in this, it's not even funny. All in all, there's really nothing to worry about. I would say that this might be One of the easiest fights, aside from one of the Umbral Equinox, I think, missions, where the enemy uses, I think it's, what is it, Kiraga or something like that. I mean, it's just that never takes a turn. And I believe that was that the Meridian fight? I think it was. I think it was a Meridian fight. Actually, no, it was not the Meridian fight. The fight that I am talking about is Dawn. The Equinox or Dawn. I think that was probably the easiest fight so far. With that flawless enemy, he just was super easy. I think this is probably the second easiest one. Yeah, other than that, that's it, guys. I think if I hope you did pull for Yuffie. I think she's probably one of the best debuffers in the game. The only problem is that her debuffs are not framed. But glad I could finally use Yuna, and good luck on the stage. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.